So Marc, thanks for being here.
Yeah, it's wonderful to be at the House of Weed in Viña del Mar.
For us, it's a good opportunity to show to our community what is your view about cannabis in Latin America and of course in the world.
Well, lots of people are smoking cannabis, but you see such variation. Like in Colombia, everybody can grow 20 plants. Well, this means everyone has all the weed they need. So if you really like cannabis, you just grow 20 big plants and you will never run out. It's such a nice thing. And they can carry 20 grams, but at home they can have all from the 20 plants, it could be 2 or 3 pounds. So you can have a lot at home. You're theoretically not allowed to sell. And then the indigenous people in the Cauca Valley, they can grow anything they want, hundreds and hundreds of plants. And they sell it, so it's very cheap. It's $45 US for 1 kilo. And that's manicured buds that look like this. Now, this is going to be better than their weed because they do bad things. When they are trimming it, the trimming is very nice, but they leave it in the sun in a big pile where insects and things can get at it. It's not, because they get so little money, because they only get $45 for a kilo of trimmed perfect buds, they're not so concerned. None of them smoke pot. That's what's really strange. You have 45,000 family farms, fincas, growing all this weed, 300 to 600 plants. None of them have fewer than 3. Yeah, a lot of it. But because they're only getting $45 a kilo, they don't smoke it, they don't test it, they don't really know how to improve it. But that will change. And then Ecuador, they have some good weed, but they are behind in Ecuador. And Peru had really good weed, but it's really expensive, like Chile. It's like 400 US an ounce, and it's about that much here. It's about 380 US an ounce for here in Chile. And I bought weed here, so I know exactly what you have to pay to get good material, and I paid for 40 grams, 320,000 Chilean pesos, which is about 700 Canadian dollars, right? Yeah. So that's about $500 an ounce.
It's not cheap.
Yeah, it's not cheap. And so that means we need still many, many, many more growers in Colombia and Ecuador and Peru and Chile. And I think Argentina is very big. I bet they have a lot of growers. So I'm curious about that place.
So Marc, when did you start in the cannabis movement? And what can you tell us about your experience in this industry as an activist and as an entrepreneur?
Oh boy, I have so many stories that would take a long time. I'm glad, and I will gladly tell you if you want. But let me say that I first smoked a joint and got high on December 21, 1980. And I fell in love the same night. The woman who gave me this joint, I fell in love with her, and we were together for 8 beautiful years. And I had a great romantic start when I first started smoking marijuana. But politically, I didn't do anything about it until the Canadian government banned all books and magazines about marijuana. I mean, they were arresting publishers, they were taking all the books, they told High Times you can't come to Canada anymore. It was crazy. And the penalty was 100,000 Canadian dollars. Now, if you're caught with weed in the first place, not a book about weed, but if you're just caught with the weed, the most they can give you is a $2,000 fine. That's the maximum for anybody charged with possession. But for having a book, or trying to sell a book, the government was saying you could get 100,000, which is 50 times more of a punishment for a book than the weed. So that told me, oh, you're frightened of the truth. You are frightened of what we might learn, about what we might see. So that is true. The government, when people say, Marc, why is marijuana illegal? I always say because governments are always terrified and afraid of the free thinkers. The free thinkers who don't accept dogma, whether it's religious dogma or government dogma. And we are the free thinkers. When you smoke pot, you're opening your mind up to new things, new ideas, new ways of looking at the world. So you don't accept that all the answers to our whole life are in one book, like the Bible or the Quran, or that there's one philosophy that's good for everybody. The government is a creature of oppression. Its whole purpose is to control people. Though it doesn't help us as part of its nature, we must force the government to give up power so we can have personal autonomy, because plants belong to the people, and this is something I've always believed. But, you know, the first thing I did is I tried to make books and magazines legal, and we succeeded, but it took like 4 years in 1995. Then we tried to make bongs and smoking material legal. The government had banned all that and pushed everybody out of business. Well, we brought that back. I have been in 39 prisons and jails. I was in jail for 5 years in the U.S. for selling seeds to people. And I've been in 33 different Canadian prisons and jails for pot in 9 out of 10 provinces. And I spent 3 months for passing one joint one time. One joint in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, Canada. And I spent 62 days of a 90-day sentence for just one joint, right? That really freaked me out. That was probably more disturbing to me than the 5 years in the United States. That was disturbing for some other reasons, but I was more mentally prepared. When I got sentenced to 3 months in jail, I thought I was going to get a $500 fine. And instead you get sent to jail for 3 months. And in a place 1,000 kilometers from my home, it was like, wow, that's pretty strange. But you know what? All my prison experiences have been very good. Yeah. Sometimes when you're in the middle of something, it's uncomfortable, it's painful, you have to sacrifice. But when I think back about all those times, I'm really grateful for the experience and the people. And I have no bad stories about any of those prisons. You know, one time I got that illness and penicillin is no good. You get an infection, and like in prisons and hospitals, you get these super bugs. I got that in prison, and there's a time when I thought, oh my God, I don't want to die here because I have this thing and they can't cure me right away. They eventually can, but you know, it's much more risky. Anyway, you know, getting through all those things, I learned to become a musician in prison. I read 150 books. My best writing I ever did was in prison, because you have the quality to think without interruption. Now we have these screens, these computers, we have food, we have sugars, we have drugs, we have sex. Everything's, you know, competing for our attention. But in prison, I was able to do a lot of good things. When you see yourself as a revolutionary, I think it's important that you accept that you will go to prison. And that there's good things that can happen. Now, as an entrepreneur, that was my other message. Not only did we have to be sacrifice if necessary, but I wanted everybody to become a good capitalist. Because when I first got involved in the movement, everybody was like a hippie socialist. Oh, we don't need money, we don't care about money. We just need love and a good herb. And I said, no, we need money. And we need a lot of money because we need power. And the only way they will respect us if we grow a lot of weed and make a lot of money and use that money for political purposes, and bringing our industry, for hiring our own people. So the first thing I said is we cannot be like this. We can't be socialists, we can't be hippies. We need to be focused on the efficiency of all going into business, making vaporizers, selling bongs, blowing bongs, making things, growing weed, selling grow equipment, making a store, making a social media, making movies, making songs about weed. Anything that people love to do, there is a way for you to make a living or make money doing this. And people will want to give you this money, they will want to be involved. People love to be with people who are enthusiastic and excited about what they're doing. Even if you say, I might go to jail. But people will go with you if you're excited and positive and you give good leadership, right? So it's all about providing leadership and providing opportunity. And so money, political power, media, that's right. We need more weed, we need more seeds, we need more people writing about it, more journalists, more movies, more music.
More plants.
Yeah, but whatever people want to do, love to do, it's possible that you can make that into a life's project. You know, it doesn't have to be, oh, it's so difficult to promote. No, it should be exciting and fun. Everything to do with cannabis should be exciting and fun. That's why we smoke it. We smoke. Why do we smoke cannabis? Because some people need it medically, but most of us, we smoke it because it makes everything more fun, everything more enjoyable, everything more mellow. And the music, the sex, the food, even your family, your children, it's all more fun when you smoke some pot.
You made the first 420 celebration in Vancouver, right?
That was fun. 200 people. in 1994.
Whoa.
April 20, 1994. We had 200 people. We were so happy because we didn't get arrested. I didn't believe it. I didn't think the police would leave us alone.
Wow.
I thought, oh, we're going to be
party.
in big trouble. For 6 hours, from noon to 6 o'clock, yeah.
Wow.
And well, now we do it from, it's 9 in the morning, people stop, and they go to 9 at night, so now it's 12 hours.
Wow, incredible.
Yeah, and at 420, it's amazing. You will see in Vancouver maybe 60, 70,000 people at that one time at 420. And the whole day will be 100,000 people.
Oh, a lot of people. Why do you think this day has become so important in the cannabis culture?
Well, 420 everywhere is usually a party, right? The marches in May, the global marijuana march that they have in Santiago and other places, those are more serious because they have a political message. We want to legalize marijuana. But actually, April 20th is really a celebration and a big party. It's like Feliz Año, but for us, the cannabis culture. Right, so it's like New Year's, and so we like smoke all day. We go to festivals, parties. We go to 420 events, and in Vancouver we play Peter Tosh's "Legalize It" at 420.
Nice.
And so anyway, it's the reason people are showing up at 420 is because it has no political message. You don't have to be political to go to 420. You just need to smoke pot, and there's many more people that smoke pot than people who smoke pot and are political. Because, you know, politics is a dirty game and it's discouraging and frustrating, right? And people don't really want to be involved in politics. But everybody likes to party and everybody likes to celebrate. And if you love weed, then that's a great day. And also, every year it tends to get better and better. Wherever you have a 420, the next year more people will be coming, right? Yeah. And it's like that. In Vancouver, we went from the first year 200, then the second year was 500, then the third year was 1,000. And actually, it took about 10 years to get to 5,000 people. But then it was like 10,000, then 20,000, then 30,000, then 50,000. And it kept getting, then it like doubling in size until it's like, whoa, now it's enormous. Will there be a 420 here in Viña del Mar?
In Valparaiso.
In Valparaiso? Yeah. Great. Good. And last year you had, how many people came? 500?
More than 500 people.
Oh, wow. That's amazing for the first year. This year you'll get 1,000. You'll double.
Yeah.
You'll double.
Hope so.
That'll be fun. 1,000 people in the park smoking weed. That'll be it.
Yeah. I will share you some pictures.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
I'm in Dublin for 420 this year. Dublin, Ireland.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm there for 420.
Nice.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you prefer, indicas or sativas? And what is your favorite strain?
My favorite strain is a Mexican sativa done by my friend Gabriel in Buitron. Anyway, I call him Gabo. And anyway, he's in Mexico City. He has this great grow shop called Octopus Garden. And when I went to the first Expo Canyamo in Mexico City, a man was there, Marc Emery, I'm waiting to see you. And I go, yeah, how are you? And he goes, listen, man, I lived in Vancouver for 3 years, and I went to your shop every week, and I learned everything I could from your shop, and now I have a grow shop, and I'm doing okay. So I grew this plant especially for you. He said, I grow it really special. I talk to it every day. I'm talking. And he's going on. I'm thinking, well, this is almost crazy. But anyway, he gives me this jar of weed, and it's beautiful. Yeah. In fact, it's more than beautiful. It's the most amazing weed I've smoked in a decade. It was a sativa. It was a blend of 6 different sativas he came up with. And he gave it the name D.B. Cooper's Money. Now, D.B. Cooper is a famous American outlaw who robbed a bank or robbed the government in 1973, and then he escaped. When they captured him, he jumped out of the plane with a parachute on, and he landed in the desert, and he got away, and no one ever found him or the money. So this is like the legendary lost strain that everyone is looking for, but no one ever finds. But now we have it. It's D.B. Cooper's Money, right? So anyway, it's so amazing. I said to him, I said, listen, I want seeds of that strain. I will buy seeds. Please make seeds. People will want this strain, and I will tell people to buy it because it is my favorite sativa. Wow. So that's my favorite strain, and I don't really care if it's indica sativa. I care if it's a good grower, because good growers make everything amazing. But an average grower or a careless grower or someone not really, really, really good and really scientific, they're going to make ordinary pot. And even if it's my favorite kind, it will still be ordinary and I'll be disappointed. So I'm only really impressed when a good grower shows me anything, because if it's really good, I'm going to know. and it doesn't matter what strain it is, I'm going to be really high.
Smoking, vaping, or edibles? Which one do you prefer?
I prefer suppositories.
Why?
Suppositories are the best way for people who want to take it for cancer or a lot of illnesses. You can't overdose with a suppository. A vaginal or rectal suppository, they're very easy, they're just small, you make them out of cocoa butter with oil, with the cannabis oil. But the important thing is, it's an incredible high if you're looking for a high. It's incredible medicine if you need the medicine. And you can't get sick. You won't get, no matter how much you take, you would never get sick. You can get sick with edibles, and I've been sick many times by not knowing the dose. And when it comes to vaporization, you know what? I never really think I get as high as when I do a bong hit or a joint. So I like the pens. I like the idea of shatter, and shatter is good in a pen. And I like doing dabs, but maybe only twice at a party. You can overdo the dab. You just do a dab on special occasions. But my favorite is probably rosin.
Rosin? Huh?
Yeah, rosin. A rosin press makes amazing.
Press.
That stuff is incredible. Okay. But it's expensive because you're getting down to just a little, 5 grams in a rosin press.
Finally, Marc, what advice would you give to someone who wants to start in this industry?
Well, I would start by growing some plants outside and see if you like it. The key thing is you should do what you love. People who are great growers, they love to grow. If you are finding it awkward or difficult, maybe growing is not for you. You should, after the first time, your love of growing will help you do it really well because you love it. You're going to read about it. You're going to research it. You're going to love your plants, take care of them. You're not going to do any shortcuts. But if growing plants is work, like it feels like work and you have to think about it and you're making mistakes, then probably you should do something else. And you know what? All throughout South America, there's a shortage of retail stores. There could easily be more grow shops, more smoking shops, more vaporizer shops. There's a lot of opportunity throughout all of South America for more entrepreneurship. So that's the direction we must advocate, is people should do what they love. If you like doing music, let's write some great weed songs and get them out there on social media. And if you like doing great weed artwork, get it out on Instagram. And if you've got a great new t-shirt or hemp clothing or a weed theme thing, jewelry, Instagram, clothing, all these different things. If you want to be a journalist, get on Twitter and start putting out information. If you want to be on social media, if you want to have a club, if you want to sell weed, I would encourage people to do that.
There are many alternatives.
Right. There's not just one way to do it. Yeah. Because we are all individuals, the revolution can use all individuals with their own specific talent. And we should help each other. The idea of earning money and getting power so we can hire our people for jobs, so we can become affiliated together and network together and go into business together and grow weed.
Grow weed,
Lots of weed. Lots of weed.
Well, thanks, Marc, for this interview.
Yeah, it was great being in the House of Weed.
It was a pleasure.
And great talking to you out there.